A mysterious tower appeared, questioning the very fate of humanity. This was the first time the tower forcibly summoned people inside. People of all ages were mercilessly chosen for this cruel trial. Only a small fraction of them managed to survive the ordeal. These survivors gained special abilities and became humanity's new hope. Many years passed as the world learned to live with the Tower Sao. 12 years later, a new threat emerged from the shadows. Vicious monsters began to appear, threatening the hard-won peace. A powerful hunter unleashed a devastating purple energy blast. Suddenly, a mysterious hunter appeared to save the day. Onlookers immediately started filming the heroic new figure. These powerful hunters quickly became idols and celebrities. The government created special laws to manage their power. Soon, hunters began forming powerful guilds and associations. Meanwhile, a camera crew prepared for a live broadcast. A man theorized about a hunter trapped inside the tower. They discussed a player who has been clearing the tower for 12 years. This legendary player trained his abilities to the absolute limit. If he had become an incredibly powerful hunter, a witness claimed he cleared 100 floors within a single day. His basic abilities were said to surpass any average hunter. Suddenly, the scene shifts to panicked hunters fleeing for their lives. They desperately ran from a threat in what felt like a deadly trap. The legendary player watched calmly as chaos erupted around him. A powerful force suddenly slammed into the fleeing group. Yet, the mysterious man stood completely unfazed by the attack. Yes, with sleepers. He stood before the final test monster on the 100th floor. The massive fiery beast named Baylock towered over the challenger. It seemed to mock the man's slim chances of escaping the tower. Meanwhile, the mysterious man smirked with a confident expression. Elsewhere, people online discussed the power of high-ranking players. A B-rank hunter recalled witnessing an unbelievably strong individual. He remembered the player easily defeating 3 powerful werewolves alone. Another witness confirmed the player's seemingly inhuman capabilities. One incredible kick sent a monster flying up 10 whole floors. Then, the man in red unleashed a devastatingly powerful kick. The man's kick connected with the demon's head with immense force. The massive beast snarled, still defiant despite the powerful blow. Then, he brought his slipper down hard on the monster's face. The player posed manically, reveling in his own incredible power. His face twisted into a wide, unhinged, and triumphant grin. A system window confirmed the monster's defeat by a slipper. He stood calmly as the monster's body began to dissolve away. He calmly contemplated his strategy for the next challenge. For 12 years, players have cleared this unchanging tutorial tower. Meanwhile, a new team of hunters faced the tower's entrance. As new hunters entered, knowledge on clearing the tower grew. This vital information was then shared all across the world. Nations used this data to train hunters and boost survival rates. However, a harsh and unforgiving reality awaited them inside. Despite all the shared knowledge, very few actually conquered it. Countless challengers fell, their journeys ending in bitter defeat. A lone survivor stared forward with a look of pure despair. He faced a massive, shadowy figure on the dreaded 99th floor. The final test was the tower's owner, a demon named Baylock. Its glowing red eyes stared down at the remaining challengers. He recalled the sheer terror Baylock instilled in every challenger. His comrades fought desperately against the overwhelming demonic entity. The beast's immense power had completely consumed all of them. Suddenly, the scene shifted to someone else standing up casually. The lone survivor stared up from the ground in utter confusion. A man in a tracksuit had just effortlessly cleared his trial. His gaze was sharp and focused, radiating a strange energy. He then calmly walked towards a swirling, otherworldly portal. As his eyes closed, the entire scene began to fade away. The original challenger's eyes snapped open with a new resolve. A mysterious welcome message suddenly appears on the screen. He finds himself at the entrance of the tutorial tower. A strange, knowing smirk spreads across the challenger's face. He sits alone in the darkness, completely unfazed by his situation. Elsewhere, another person desperately cries out, wanting to escape. The challenger simply lies down on the cold, hard ground. After a moment, he calmly decides to check his status. His status window reveals overwhelmingly powerful stats and abilities. The scene then flashes back to a chaotic battle 12 years prior. A group of adventurers celebrated, thinking their long trial was over. His grateful party members stood before the final exit portal. They happily made plans to meet again in the real world. But suddenly he found himself back at the very beginning. He was completely alone on the tower's first floor once more. A new status window revealed he was cursed to stay there. He stared at the screen in utter disbelief and desperation. So he began a desperate search for a way to break the curse. He cleared the entire tower alone, over and over again. Through endless training, he pushed his body to its absolute limit. Yet after all that effort, Nothing had changed his fate. After 5 years of failure, he began to laugh at his own despair. He started enjoying his cursed life by acting as a wandering soul. Sometimes he played a quest-giving NPC for the new tower challengers. Other times, he became a strict military instructor for the trainees. But he always avoided getting close to those who could actually leave. After 12 long years, he checked his status, seeing no change. Suddenly, a shocking new message appeared on his status screen. The system announced that the endless loop had finally been removed. He stared at the notification, his mind racing with disbelief and hope. A slow, menacing grin then spread across his determined face. A massive stone fist descended as he let out a mighty roar. He channeled his immense power, finally free from his long confinement. The ground beneath him shattered from the sheer force he unleashed. After that, he launched himself upwards like a brilliant purple comet. His face was filled with pure joy as he finally headed back home. Meanwhile, a TV show discussed the fastest time to clear the tower. A host wondered if the new hunter group could break the record. The erring guild leader noted that teamwork would be a key factor. Next, the Soul Guild leader emphasized using the right abilities. The Guryo guild leader then warned of the dangers on higher floors. He explained that a powerful boss guards every 10th floor. From this point on, luck would no longer be a factor. The powerful monster was suddenly sent flying back in shock. A man in a tracksuit launched himself forward with incredible speed. His face twisted in pure rage as he unleashed his power. He smashed through the 70th and 80th floors with raw force. After that, he blasted his way straight through the 90th floor. The scenery changed to a desolate ruin under a blood-red sky. Another massive explosion signaled yet another floor had been cleared. Finally, his sandals touched down on the ground of the 99th floor. He faced a colossal, fiery beast on the final floor. He let out a furious roar, determined to finally go home. The beast retaliated by firing a massive beam of energy. The scene abruptly changes to a VIP waiting room for the tower. They discussed the news of a man who entered in 2006. She explained that inside the tower, aging completely stops. He eagerly anticipated what kind of monster he had become. A countdown started for the new hunter's evaluation test. The test takers were told to equip their gear and wait. Among them, one man casually ate chips, completely unfazed. He is surprised to find his bag of chips is already empty. The other hunters in their gear stare at him with disdain. A fellow hunter points out his lack of protective equipment. He realizes he missed the gear distribution while he was sleeping. Suddenly, a bright door opens, summoning them to the test site. He squints at the sudden brightness, still looking confused. They arrive at a massive building called the Evaluation Maze. A man in a sharp suit stands alone to greet the new recruits. He introduces himself as David, their A-grade exam supervisor. Behind him, giant doors reveal a vast and intimidating stone maze. David explains the maze is filled with various dangerous traps. He tells them to escape as a 30-second countdown begins. The armored recruits stand poised and ready for the challenge. One recruit's eyes narrow with focus as time runs out. A hand tightens around a sword hilt in anticipation. As the exam starts, they all rush into the maze entrance. David observes from above, impressed by their organized start. He smirks, remembering the intensity of his own first exam. Suddenly, another person appears behind him on the rooftop. The supervisor turns his head, sensing the unexpected presence. A flashback reveals the newcomer's nonchalant attitude before the test. The supervisor had approached him, looking him over with a smirk. He was completely baffled by this strange new participant's demeanor. David then noticed his pathetic equipment and casual sweatpants. The boy even let out a huge yawn, showing no respect. Back on the rooftop, David confronts the boy about his thoughts. The newcomer listens with a serious expression. His demeanor changed. David glares, accusing him of not taking the exam seriously. But the boy just smirks, disrespectfully calling him uncle. David's anger flares, but the boy fearlessly calls him brave. The boy proposes a bet to pass the exam in just 20 seconds. David scoffs at his ridiculous claim, dismissing it as complete nonsense. Standing before the gate, the boy taunts David, asking if he is afraid. David counters by raising the bet to a much higher amount. Without hesitation, the boy accepts and sprints towards the exam entrance. He calmly places his hand on the massive stone door before him. As his hand touches the stone, he thinks about the huge hunter salary. Motivated by the money, he pushes the door with incredible power. His foot digs into the ground, bracing for the immense effort. Suddenly, the entire stone gate shatters into countless pieces from his push. An agent in a suit lowers his glasses, questioning the man's actions. Meanwhile, a crowd watches the unbelievable scene unfold on a large screen. His own teammates stare in utter confusion at his strange behavior. The man, however, maintains a look of intense and serious focus. He suddenly slams his hand onto the ground, unleashing a powerful aura. His palm glows with a brilliant blue energy upon making contact. The radiant energy surges, growing stronger with each passing moment. The ground beneath his hand begins to crack under the immense pressure. He then raises his fist, now a blinding sphere of concentrated power. A massive explosion of energy erupts, obliterating the entire wall. He takes a confident step forward out of the settling dust. He now stands before the massive, self-made exit from the maze. A satisfied smirk appears on his face as he surveys his work. Onlookers watch a monitor in complete and utter disbelief. Another group observes his unorthodox methods with great interest. He daydreams happily about the prize money he has just earned. Suddenly, a worrying thought interrupts his brief celebration. He realizes the destruction he caused might have a hefty price. The scene then shifts to 24 hours before the competition began. Inside an office, a list of contestants is being finalized. Two office workers discuss the upcoming competition's participants. Finding information on the mysterious advanced hunter is proving difficult. He suddenly spots another interesting candidate on the list. The man explains this person is a backup plan for the competition. The backup candidate's profile shows his name, Lee Kang-hyun. The scene then cuts to him firmly gripping his glowing katana. His expression is one of intense focus and determination. He raises his sword, confident in his talent and abilities. Suddenly, a terrifying monster appears, sending others running in fear. However, he remains calm and prepares to confront the beast. The monster lunges forward with a ferocious, open-mouthed roar. He meets its charge with a swift, glowing sword strike. After the battle, he stands victorious over the fallen beast. He reflects on his journey, confident in his respected status. Suddenly, a powerful, unseen force strikes him down completely. The devastating impact sends shockwaves across the cavern walls. A new enraged man appears with intensely glowing red eyes. He sprints past the fallen swordsman without a second glance. Lee Kang-hyun can only watch in complete and utter confusion. The stranger then joyfully runs towards a mysterious purple portal. He remembers feeling pathetic after meeting that strange man. Back in the present, the first exam has successfully concluded. They are instructed to go back to the waiting room. The testing ground is now completely shrouded in thick smoke. Meanwhile, the reporters are in chaos over the sudden incident. One reporter frantically demands a clear image of the event. Another reporter listens intently with a concerned expression. Their superior appears on screen, demanding an immediate situation report. The scene then shifts to the quiet hunter's waiting room. Inside, the pink-haired man sits silently, lost in his thoughts. The man in the tracksuit lets out a long, tired groan. Meanwhile, other hunters excitedly discuss the recent maze incident. They gossip about the rumored advanced player who just appeared. A blonde hunter believes there is still a chance to witness his power. An announcement declares a change in the competition's schedule. The man on the couch looks startled by the sudden news. With renewed determination, the blonde hunter vows to win. He then grips a sword hilt, channeling a powerful purple aura. Another man cries out as the immense energy surges through him. A brilliant blade materializes, crackling with purple lightning. He unleashes a devastating lightning attack on the monsters. Meanwhile, the control room staff watch in utter disbelief. The hunter smirks, confident in his overwhelming power. He moves like a storm, cutting through the horde effortlessly. Suddenly, the timer on the screen finally reaches 0. His final score is an incredible 78 goblins defeated. With a proud smile, he realizes he has the top score. The audience watches on, praising his immense talent and potential. As he leaves, the rumored advanced player is called forward. The next contestant, Kim Hyun-woo, yawns with total boredom. The previous record holder watches the new contestant with intense focus. Meanwhile, the examiners smirk, knowing who is about to compete. Kim Hyun-woo enters the arena with a 120-second time limit. As the exam begins, a strange blue energy starts to materialize. Suddenly, a menacing goblin with glowing eyes appears from the light. Soon another one forms, and they both stand ready to attack. He is now completely surrounded by a horde of waiting goblins. The audience watches the live feed as the final countdown begins. Even the other contestants watch on with nervous anticipation. The goblins bare their fangs, ready to unleash their fury. The countdown continues as he stands calmly among the monsters. He takes a final deep breath as the last seconds tick away. At the final moment, his eyes snap open with fierce determination. As the test starts, he stomps his foot hard onto the ground. The powerful stomp sends shockwaves cracking through the floor. He instantly launches himself forward, striking the first goblin down. Shocked staff members demand a closer look at the sudden event. The other goblins roar in fury, their eyes glowing with rage. An onlooker stares in utter disbelief at what he is witnessing. He then moves like a phantom, dispatching goblins with swift strikes. A digital timer shows less than 2 minutes have passed. The staff members are stunned, unable to track his movements. Onlookers watch the live feed as monsters are defeated instantly. One observer's eye widens, completely amazed by the display. A group of hunters agrees his incredible speed is hard to follow. On screen, he casually strolls up to the remaining monsters. He then lands a single, devastating blow on another goblin. A red-haired man smirks, understanding the overwhelming power. The group questions if any normal human is capable of this. A blue-haired man concludes that the fighter is a true monster. The fighter collapses as the time for the test expires. He stands over the defeated monsters, earning a massive score. He smirks confidently, having thoroughly enjoyed the challenge. His fight was streamed live, gaining millions of views instantly. The internet erupts with comments questioning his unbelievable feat. People online discuss his immense and seemingly limitless magic power. A close-up reveals another man's eye filled with pure rage. His hand trembles as he reads about the newcomer's strength. In a fit of rage, he completely shatters his phone screen. The furious man stares down at his now broken phone. A man is startled as a door is suddenly slammed open nearby. The enraged man smashes his fists into a wall, cracking it. He recalls his endless efforts to become stronger and more famous. Overwhelmed with injustice, he screams out in pure frustration. In a different room, a list is presented to the protagonist. He looks down at the paper, completely puzzled by its contents. A woman reveals it's a list of parties eager to meet him. She then introduces herself as Alice, a Hunter Association officer. He takes her card as she congratulates him on his return. Alice starts to explain the new dangers of this changed world. Alice explains that great rewards await those who face the dangers. She then notices his distracted and complicated expression. Startled, he snaps back to attention from his inner thoughts. He quickly asks if handling contracts is part of her duties. Alice then presents him with a large binder from the Ares Guild. As he takes the contract, she directs him to a specific section. He opens it and is immediately shocked by the first clause he reads. With a calm expression, she asks him for his initial thoughts. He looks up stunned, revealing the contract is worth 10 billion won. She confirms the massive sum, awaiting his final decision. He stares intently, voicing his disbelief about the huge sum. He jokingly asks if the nation's currency has suddenly collapsed. She calmly clarifies that land prices have simply skyrocketed. To prove her point, she shows him his old home's price. He is completely floored by the new 1.3 billion won valuation. She reminds him that such prices are nothing with his deposit. She explains the Ares Guild will even double the contract later. He processes the staggering possibility of a 20 billion won deal. She sweetens the deal, mentioning a favorable distribution ratio. With a smirk, he questions if this is part of her job. She reveals a personal connection allowed her to bring the offer. He understands why the deal was presented so discreetly inside the building. She suggests he take his time, but he has already made his choice. He bluntly states he never planned on joining a guild, stunning her. With a smirk, he repeats his firm refusal to join any organization. She tries to laugh it off as a joke, but he remains completely serious. He clarifies his intention to remain independent and not be tied down. Back in his room, he regrets wasting time on the pointless grading test. The man tosses in bed, too annoyed by the day's events to sleep. Out of boredom, he finally decides to read the list of meeting requests. He scans the list of names, suddenly noticing a few familiar ones. 5 days later, he arrives at a Japanese restaurant for a meeting. Surrounded by food, he admits he's still struggling to adapt to everything. He looks at his guests, trying to process the unbelievable situation. The man confirms he is sitting with the very people from his past. His eyes widen in complete and utter disbelief at the reunion. He remembers Seok-won as a peer, who now looks like an older man. Then he recalls Si-hyun, a whiny student who became a handsome man. Even Seo-yeon had transformed completely since her junior high days. Still in shock, he points to one of them seeking confirmation. He teases his friend about being a coward during a boss fight. Suddenly, Seo-yeon's eyes glow with a menacing purple aura. He ignores them, happily enjoying his first sushi in 12 years. His friend reminds him how he craved sushi after catching a merman. A flashback shows the terrified merman they captured long ago. He then recalls gleefully preparing sashimi from the creature's tail. Seo-yeon mentions a spooky story about him that spread outside the tower. Intrigued, he pauses his meal to ask what the story was about. She reveals that his exploits inside the tower made him a celebrity. He is left utterly stunned and speechless by this shocking revelation. He frantically wonders which of his bizarre acts were broadcast on TV. A cold sweat forms as he realizes there are far too many to count. He recalls the time he cleared a dungeon without any equipment. Then he remembers the moment he cosplayed as a monstrous creature. Soyeon reveals the most famous tale involves him dancing against a boss. He nonchalantly confirms all the wild rumors about him are completely true. An intense dark aura suddenly emanates from one of his companions. A flashback shows him grooving under colorful, vibrant disco lights. He and his clones are seen dancing before a furious dungeon boss. His friends can only stare in stunned silence, utterly speechless. He casually takes a bite of sushi, breaking the tense silence. As he chews, his friends continue to watch him in disbelief. He then grins, admitting he was just trying something out. The man explains he thought it was the only way to escape. His frustration led him to simply pierce through the tower's floors. His companions now believe he is even more of a monster. He looks serious, describing the desperation of being trapped inside. Suddenly, he remembers that his student was also out there somewhere. A flashback shows a desolate, ruined area between the tower's floors. He recalls finding an injured person and sensing a wandering soul. The injured person looked up, seeing a monstrous figure above him. This being offered the kneeling young man a chance to survive. With glowing eyes, he promised to guide the terrified student. He recalls bragging about creating a new martial art for him. He had hoped to escape his prison like a hero from a novel. His companions find his naive escape attempt quite amusing. A flashback reveals the student's grueling and unorthodox training. He then endured intense strength training under his master's watch. The master instructed him on how to break a pillar with energy. Looking back, he feels guilty for his fraudulent, forceful methods. He worries about the consequences of his past actions. Fortunately, his mask helps him avoid his old master. His friends ask about his 12 years away from the world. He sits in silence, lost in his own thoughts. Later, he finally returns to his own personal room. Lying in bed, he decides to check his status window. He sees the tutorial completion message has vanished. The system has also reverted his age back to 24. Now he plans to live a free and fulfilling life. But a strange message on the screen catches his eye. He curiously taps the strange new message on his screen. His eyes widen as he questions the new notification. The system congratulates him, but assigns a new mission. He stares in disbelief at the list of target dungeons. As he processes this, an unexpected voice calls out his name. At the door, a caretaker informs him of visitors from the Ares Guild. He immediately tries to refuse the meeting with the scouts. The caretaker nervously reminds him of the guild's powerful reputation. He considers the situation, deciding to handle it directly. Reluctantly, he agrees and asks the caretaker to lead the way. The caretaker leads him into a well-furnished meeting room. Inside, two imposing men from the Ares Guild are waiting for him. He immediately states his disinterest in joining any guild whatsoever. The guild's personnel head introduces himself while offering a business card. After taking the card, he questions the man's confident demeanor. The official then asks if he truly understands the consequences of refusing. He implies that without the guild, his future growth is impossible. Hyunwoo's face darkens as he processes the thinly veiled warning. The man promises an easy path if he simply joins their ranks. Suddenly, Hyunwoo leans in with a grin, ready to give his response. Hyunwoo asks if the man came all this way just to blackmail him. The personnel head erupts in fury, but Hyunwoo remains completely unfazed. When the official questions his judgment, Hyunwoo cuts him off, already knowing. He then reveals he knows all about the guild's shady reputation. The scene flashes back to a discussion about dungeon entrance tickets. Hyunwoo had sarcastically compared dungeons to amusement parks. His friend then explained the Ares Guild's massive monopoly on dungeons. Another friend detailed their control over the most profitable farming spots. This forces hunters to either pay exorbitant fees or join the guild. Back in the present, Hyunwoo's fist crackles with immense purple power. A bald man slams his fist on the table, warning Hyunwoo to be careful. He looms over Hyunwoo, telling him to consider his words very carefully. The man's fist remains on the shattered table, as Hyunwoo watches silently. He insists that Hyunwoo doesn't understand the gravity of his situation. Suddenly, Hyunwoo is startled by a loud crash right behind him. The bald man is sent flying backwards with incredible unseen force. His companion reveals the man is an A-rank hunter, questioning Hyunwoo's power. Hyunwoo responds to the threat with a calm and confident smirk. He casually relaxes on the couch, dismissing the man as worthless. The two remaining men stare in complete shock and disbelief at his audacity. Hyunwoo casually holds up a slipper, beckoning the man closer. He stands up, declaring he will fight using only the slipper. The bald man grinds his teeth, consumed by absolute fury. Losing all composure, he lunges forward to attack Hyunwoo. His face contorts with rage as he screams and throws a punch. Hyunwoo calmly raises the slipper to meet the incoming fist. A brilliant flash of light erupts as the two attacks collide. Hyunwoo's eyes glow with intensity as he holds his ground. The bald man's face twists in shock and immense pain. A powerful shockwave explodes from the point of impact. A suited man stares in absolute disbelief at the scene. The bald man is sent flying, crashing deep into the stone wall. His superior watches, horrified by the sudden and brutal defeat. Hyun-woo stands over the aftermath, slipper still in his hand. Elsewhere, a crowd watches a broadcast of powerful, glowing figures. An influential man observes the footage with a calculating expression. A confident young man with a smirk dismisses the display of power. He sits casually, discussing the player's perceived arrogance. Suddenly, a massive beam of purple energy erupts with force. A muscular figure strains against its restraints, ready to be unleashed. Man flexes, channeling the guild's immense power. He confident his strength will crush his opponent, but suddenly his ally is slammed deep into the ground instead. Then he is instantly embedded into the ceiling right above them. His companion stares in disbelief at this impossible display of power. Elsewhere, the young man casually gets someone's attention. His friend questions what new scheme he is currently planning. He calmly reveals he has a new important task to complete. A flashback reveals his long confinement within a mysterious tower. His expression hardens, fueled by years of accumulated resentment. He swears to find the culprit and make them suffer equally. His friend questions his sudden interest in that specific location. He confidently asks if his friend is familiar with the location. Elsewhere, a staff member stares in horror at the aftermath. He stands calmly amidst the smoke and debris he created. The location is revealed to be the mysterious Aderon Institute. A menacing monster is said to be good training for new hunters. Back in the present, his friend asks why he must go there. His companion points out that he likely cannot even enter it. He explains that a powerful guild abuses its exclusive dungeon rights. His friend is outraged, questioning why the government does nothing. The protagonist reveals that authorities have no power over hunters. His companion points out the guild is getting away with murder. He explains any deaths inside the dungeon are ruled as accidents. The main character grimaces, calling the whole situation a total mess. From the outside, the Ares Guild appears to be a legitimate company. He stands up, determined to find a way to sneak into the dungeon. A confident smirk appears as he reveals he has another plan. His friend looks on with a growing sense of unease. The protagonist declares he will confront the issue directly. His friend warns him about making enemies with the powerful Ares Guild. The protagonist listens intently, his resolve unshaken by the warning. He reveals it's too late, remembering a past brutal encounter. Meanwhile, the Ares Guild discusses their global expansion plans. Inside their headquarters, a high-level meeting is currently underway. A presenter estimates their expansion into China will take 5 months. He then provides timelines for their movements in Japan and Russia. The Korean branch manager, Seon-woo Hyu, seems pleased with this report. His subordinate stresses the need to always remain ahead of their rivals. Seon-woo Hyu shares his ruthless philosophy on survival and competition. The branch manager dismisses his subordinate with a final instruction. A new employee approaches Seon-woo Hyu's desk with a report. The folder contains the requested ability analysis for Hyun-woo Kim. After opening the folder, his expression turns to one of disbelief. His stats were analyzed from tutorial footage, showing incredible abilities. Finding the results unbelievable, he questions the machine's accuracy. The personnel director confirms the analysis department stands by the data. He re-examines the report, questioning if the data is actually real. A sly smile forms as he asks about recruiting this individual. The director reveals that a previous recruitment attempt had already failed. He smirks, suddenly deciding it's better not to recruit this individual. The director holds up the recruit's photo, questioning the executive's logic. He insists that such a powerful individual would be a huge asset. The executive taps the desk, acknowledging the potential for massive profit. He reveals his true fear: the recruit could threaten his position. He warns the director, calling the recruit a tempting but poisonous apple. He then gives a chilling order to injure the recruit instead of hiring him. As the director leaves the room, another man sprints towards him frantically. The breathless man urgently informs him that a major incident has occurred. The incident occurred at the Institute of Aderon, stunning the director. The scene shifts to Cheonbosan Mountain, where someone pleads for entry. At the Aderon dungeon, Ares Guild members block a lone female archer. She desperately explains this is the only place she can possibly hunt. A guard mockingly suggests she go to a far more dangerous location. He then leans in close, belittling her for her lack of resources. The man smirks, arrogantly boasting about his so-called principles. His demeanor softens as he pretends to be swayed by her presence. He then makes an inappropriate offer, which is suddenly interrupted. The guard and the archer turn around, confused by the intervention. A man in a tracksuit stands before them, calmly stopping the confrontation. The guard misunderstands, telling the man to use the nearby forest. The protagonist looks confused, stating his business is in the dungeon. Angered, the guard insists this is a dangerous place for jokes. He calmly explains he knows the risks and has a reason to be there. With a confident smirk, he questions the guard's intelligence. A sudden, violent memory of a past battle flashes through his mind. The group stands back, confused by the sudden shift in atmosphere. Losing his patience, the guard demands to know his profession. The man in the tracksuit simply stares back without saying a word. He then bends over, warning the others not to get involved. He calmly takes off his sandal, his patience clearly worn thin. The two guards stare back, completely baffled by his strange behavior. With a friendly smile, he beckons the main guard to come closer. The guard's confusion quickly turns into explosive, unrestrained anger. In a blinding flash, the man in the tracksuit unleashes a powerful strike. His companion watches in shock as the guard is sent flying past him. Stunned, the remaining man can only stare at the resulting dust cloud. The first guard lies defeated, having crashed into the metal fence. Now, the tracksuit man slowly approaches the terrified second guard. He grabs the man, realizing he might have used too much force. He gets the guard's attention, who nervously bows in response. The man makes a strange request, asking for the guard's shoes. When the guard hesitates, he gives him a menacing reminder. The tracksuit man tries on the guard's stylish new footwear. He tests the shoes, surprised by their incredible lightness. The guard cries, remembering the expensive magic on his shoes. After taking the shoes, the man leaves the guard in his socks. As a trade, he tosses his old broken sandals on the ground. As he leaves, a mysterious archer also prepares to depart. The dejected guard is left alone with his defeated colleague. At the Soul Guild headquarters, a woman is furious about someone's departure. She confronts a colleague, who explains the man simply left on his own. The man is annoyed by her loud shouting, while she remains visibly upset. Meanwhile, inside a dungeon, a warrior notices the boss has regenerated. His party members discuss if they are even strong enough to face it. One of them insists they must fight since they paid for entry. A masked woman in the group questions their chances of winning the fight. The warrior explains the boss has high defense but very low attack power. After considering this, the masked woman agrees that victory is possible. With renewed determination, the trio charges forward to battle the mob boss. Suddenly, the warrior spots a mysterious figure standing in the shadows. His companions are startled, questioning the stranger's identity. A man in a tracksuit stands confidently with a sinister grin. The boss's eyes gleam with excitement over his new test subjects. The monstrous boss looms over the protagonist, ready to experiment on him. The story flashes back 12 years to a child care center. A young boy is sternly warned to behave himself at the center. His uncle instructs him to listen carefully to the teachers. With a final cold farewell, the uncle prepares to leave him. His uncle abandoned him at the center, stealing his inheritance. Someone reflects on Hyunwoo's usually calm demeanor, but when provoked, he unleashes a torrent of twisted aggression. Back in the tower, he faced a monstrous foe with cold resolve. Meanwhile, two men discuss a new assignment from their manager. One of them is shocked to learn about a new hunter's abilities. He reviews Hyunwoo's file, noting his impressive A-rank stats. The man smirks, realizing Hyunwoo is on a monstrous level. He learns his mission is not just to recruit, but to injure him. His colleague gives him the green light to do whatever is necessary. A sinister smile spreads across his face, eager for the task. The man recalls Hyunwoo's past trespass in their exclusive dungeon. His colleague confirms their pride was hurt because of that incident. He believes injuring a hunter of that level will be a challenge. They plan to handle the situation quietly to avoid disturbing his boss. As they leave, they mention the executive department is focused on Pado Guild. The narrative introduces China's newborn guild, Pado, a dominant force. This guild grew enormous in 4 years, led by monstrous executives. Their leader is surprisingly the world's 5th-ranked S-rank hunter. Yet, the identity of this powerful leader remains unknown to the world. With their forces tied up, they will send a specialist after Hyunwoo. A photo of Hyunwoo is shown with an order to handle him neatly. Meanwhile, Hyunwoo is completely engrossed in his new phone at home. He suddenly snaps a picture of his roommate, who seems quite surprised. Hyunwoo then shows off the impressive quality of the photo he just took. His roommate is annoyed that Hyunwoo has been playing games for hours. Changing the topic, he asks about the Soul Guild managing a certain village. While gaming, Hyunwoo casually mentions the village probably has no boss monster. After his character dies, he looks up from his phone in surprise. He urgently asks why there is no boss, learning it was already caught. An explanation reveals that unlike the tower, real-world bosses do not regenerate. It's explained that regular monsters constantly reappear after being defeated. A humorous scene then marks the end of the chapter. The story cuts to the Hunter Association's ability measurement station. Hyun-woo is seen casually walking into the large building. He enters the facility alongside his well-dressed companion. An official at the front desk looks up at them. Hyun-woo approaches the desk to register his name. The official is shocked, asking if he's the legendary returnee. Hyun-woo calmly confirms his identity to the stunned man. The man realizes this is the person everyone has been asking about. A blonde man urgently asks the official if Hyun-woo Kim has arrived. Someone scoffs, believing Hyun-woo's reputation is completely undeserved. The official hands Hyun-woo a strange device to begin his evaluation. This artifact, the investigator's eye, will determine his hunter grade. Hyun-woo calmly takes the mysterious cube to start the assessment. A nearby machine activates, projecting a bright blue hologram. The official stares in disbelief at the B-rank result displayed. His mind races, unable to comprehend the unexpected outcome. Hyun-woo calmly observes his stats appearing on a holographic screen. He then turns to the official, asking if the registration is finished. Hyun-woo is taken aback by the official's sudden reaction. The man then lets out a massive scream of utter disbelief. His shout echoes from the building, signaling a major event. Soon, news of Hyun-woo's evaluation becomes a trending topic online. People are buzzing with shock over his unbelievable abilities. The official's loud reaction had spread the news like wildfire. Hyun-woo scrolls through the posts, surprised by the sudden attention. While in a car, he wonders how everyone found out so quickly. His companion explains that he is now a very famous person. He reminds Hyun-woo that his past deeds put him in the spotlight. His companion notes Hyun-woo's apparent lack of concern. He warns that the Ares Guild has already gathered information on him. While on his phone, he advises Hyun-woo to be extremely careful. He then notices Hyun-woo seems completely lost in his own thoughts. Suddenly, his companion bursts into uncontrollable, mocking laughter. Annoyed, Hyun-woo watches him shove a phone in his face. He excitedly explains a strange game-loading screen he keeps seeing. The screen shows a cloaked figure in a dramatic, flashy pose. His friend continues to laugh at the ridiculousness of the hunter's pose. Hyun-woo calmly reveals that the figure in the picture is actually him. His friend's laughter dies as he stares in complete disbelief. Hyun-woo maintains a serious expression, confirming his shocking statement. An awkward silence suddenly fills the car as they continue driving. The friend remains stunned, unable to process the unbelievable news. After a moment, he awkwardly clears his throat to break the tension. He then tries to start a new conversation with the unamused driver. The friend casually asks if Hyun-woo has any important things to do. Hyun-woo glances over, annoyed by the seemingly random question. His companion points out that he appears to have a lot of free time. Visibly irritated, Hyun-woo retorts that he is also a busy guild leader. His companion smugly claims he made time just for him. The scene shifts to the Ares Guild's executive department office. A stern-looking executive stares forward with a tense expression. He is reviewing a file on Hyun-woo's A-rank abilities. Another man understands why the branch manager is so interested. The executive continues to study the file with deep concern. His colleague casually asks why he is taking this so seriously. He then gives a sinister grin, promising there will be no problems. The man reveals he has called in someone named Cheon Shin. Upon hearing the name, the executive reacts with utter shock. The colleague explains this hunter will soon be an S rank in China. His associate listens with a deeply troubled and grim expression. The man simply responds with a knowing and sinister smile. Elsewhere, a group arrives at a guild-affiliated dungeon at night. A phone shows it's 11:59 p.m., just before the boss regenerates. The leader confidently signals for his two companions to enter. Together, the three hunters walk down a path into the dark woods. From behind, a mysterious figure watches them walk away. The hidden observer breaks into a wide, menacing grin. He is revealed to be the notorious hunter, Cheon Shin. Cheon Shin confirms he has been watching his target closely. He smirks, acknowledging the rumors of his target's monstrous power. The man's overwhelming physical and magical abilities were truly impressive. However, a sinister thought begins to form in his mind. Cheon Shin now wants to discover his target's hidden weaknesses. His associate smirks, ready to provide him with crucial information. He reveals their target is heading to a dungeon they control. Delighted by the news, Cheon Shin prepares a special welcome. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo arrives alone at the visible swamp entrance. He looks up at the sky, sensing an unsettling presence nearby. He questions the strange and uncomfortable feeling in the air. Suddenly, his phone buzzes, breaking his concentration. He glances at the screen with a focused, serious look. A message from Seoyeon confirms his current location. She sends an urgent reminder about the danger from Ares. He sighs, feeling the weight of his friend's concerns. After a moment, he continues walking toward the dungeon gate. A confident smirk appears as he dismisses the potential threat. Elsewhere, Cheon Kangshin smiles, pleased with his plan's progress. His associate grins menacingly while talking about the staff. A ferocious twin-headed ogre roars, revealing itself as the boss. While his companion panics, the protagonist remains completely unfazed. The armored man films in disbelief, thinking the hero is insane. He confidently turns to face the monster, ready for the fight. His companion realizes he is witnessing a truly advanced player in action. Without hesitation, the hero charges straight toward the towering beast. He stomps his foot, gathering a powerful blue aura around him. Then he leaps high, aiming a devastating kick at the ogre's arm. A determined smirk crosses his face as he closes in on his target. He lands on the monster's arm, using it to propel himself upward. He unleashes a devastating kick directly to the monster's head. The immense force of the blow sends the ogre flying backward. After that, he lands perfectly on the defeated beast's back. A nearby man records the entire event, his face filled with shock. The hero stands tall under the moonlight, looking completely unfazed. Meanwhile, another witness celebrates capturing the incredible footage. A mysterious figure watches from the trees with a sinister smile. The scene then shifts to the Ares Guild's executive office. A man in a suit smirks, questioning someone's thoroughness. A woman with blue hair asks why he wants to enter their dungeon. The young man looks up from his phone with a confused expression. He explains to the woman that he has some business to handle. She immediately questions him about the nature of this business. When he deflects, she asks if he's provoking the Ares Guild. He flashes a wide, mischievous grin, confirming her suspicions. His playful admission leaves the blue-haired woman completely stunned. She sighs in exasperation, stressed by his reckless attitude. However, she tries to calm herself, dismissing her own concerns. She then recalls what she heard about Hyunwoo's incredible abilities. A memory of his popular dungeon attack video comes to her mind. She acknowledges his strength, but still expresses her deep concern. She advises him to finish his task quickly to avoid the Ares Guild. His destination is the A-rank dungeon known as the Visible Swamp. The woman warns that the Ares Guild plans to raid the dungeon soon. He listens thoughtfully to her serious and detailed warning. Hyunwoo simply smiles and tells her not to worry about him. Despite his calm words, he stands outside with a confident smirk. Suddenly, an enraged man with a large blade confronts him fiercely. The man furiously accuses him of making an enemy of the Ares Guild. He then remembers her specific warning about clashing with Ares members. Hyunwoo calmly mocks his trembling, sword-wielding opponent. He then questions the man's predictable and unchanging tactics. Pointing at him, he recalls the man's previous arrogant defeat. Hyunwoo smirks, knowing they hide behind their guild's name. He then asks if this entire predictable scenario feels familiar. The guild member's face twists with pure, unadulterated rage. Driven by fury, the man brings his massive blade down on him. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of blue light explodes from the clash. After the light fades, only a cloud of dust remains at the scene. Hyunwoo casually walks away from the gate, completely unharmed. He lets out a quiet sigh, seemingly relieved after the confrontation. As he steps into the new area, the ground cracks under his foot. He now stands on a dirt path next to a shimmering river. Suddenly, a massive reptilian eye snaps open from its hiding place. Unaware of the lurking danger, he walks calmly along the riverbank. The creature's eye blurs as it prepares to lunge with incredible speed. Its huge, clawed foot slams down hard onto the dusty ground. A monstrous form erupts from the earth in a powerful ambush. Startled by the sudden tremor, Hyunwoo quickly looks up. A giant alligator boss looms over him, ready for a fight. Hyunwoo seems completely unfazed by the giant monster. He recalls a woman explaining the creature's valuable parts. A greedy thought crosses his mind as he looks up. Suddenly, a sharp, predatory grin spreads across his face. He leaps into the air, delivering a powerful kick to its jaw. The massive alligator reels back from the force of the impact. Filled with excitement, he prepares to finish the fight quickly. But the monster's eye glares back with pure, focused rage. Its enormous tail whips around in a devastatingly fast counterattack. He is slammed hard into the dusty ground below. With surprising strength, he grabs the monster's tail. He forces the beast forward, riding it through the water. A wild grin appears as he prepares a new attack. Fear finally appears in the massive creature's eye. He starts swinging the massive beast in a giant circle. The alligator is then slammed into the earth below. The monster lies stunned inside a deep impact crater. Dazed and confused, the alligator struggles to comprehend. But its confusion quickly turns back into simmering rage. The beast plants its claws, preparing to fight again. The alligator monster glares, radiating a menacing purple aura. From afar, another man watches the confrontation with amusement. A sinister smile spreads across the mysterious observer's face. Suddenly, The enraged beast lunges forward with its jaws wide open. But the protagonist grins, eagerly anticipating the final confrontation. His confident expression quickly turns into one of utter shock. Glowing red chains suddenly materialize, binding his legs completely. Immobilized, he can only watch as the monster's jaws close in. The man reveals his true nature with a wicked, triumphant grin. A brief, peaceful memory flashes through the protagonist's mind. His companion trembles, sensing they have walked into a trap. He roars in desperation, demanding to know their cruel fate.